It's Ricardo Fuller with his first ever YouTube video on this channel, and what I do on this channel is I watch the Arrowverse, MCU, Netflix shows, Amazon shows, HBO Max shows, and Disney Plus shows, and I give my opinions on it. I rank their seasons, and I tell you if I like it or if I don't like it, and I tell you if you should stream it or watch it, or don't stream it or don't watch it. And on this video, on this first video on this YouTube channel, I will be ranking the first 6 seasons of The Flash. I'm not gonna rank season 7 yet until it fully comes out, until all the episodes of season 7 come out. So I'm gonna do an updated version when season 7 fully comes out. Alright, let's get to the video. At number 6, I have season 5. Now, what made season 5 not such a good season for me is the fact that Nora Allen was introduced, I believe, too quick for the CW. Cause I feel like they rushed Barry and Iris's kid to come on screen way too quick. Now, their main villain that season was Cicada. They did have Gorilla Grodd to come in. They did have King Shark and Gorilla Grodd to have a fight scene in there. And Godspeed was introduced in season 5. I understand that, but overall, it just wasn't that good of a season. I mean, Elseworlds was there. They introduced Batwoman. They introduced Gotham was a city in episode 9, season 5. But that's probably the best part of the season was Elseworlds, part 1. But besides that, I really didn't like the season. Yeah. Coming in at number 5 for me, I have season 6. Now, I understand season 6 for The Flash was the one where they had Crisis on Infinite Earths. But overall, it was a good season. But what I would have wished for was more than one episode with Kid Flash. And Eva McCulloch, she was a good villain, but Eva McCulloch was a good villain. I'll do a video later on ranking Flash villains, but so just the whole season they were just trying to save Barry from not dying on Infinite Earths, and then it turns out Jay Garrick was the one to sacrifice his life, and just for all of that to happen. And then Crisis happened. It's just like the lead up to Crisis from the Flash's point of view wasn't good. I didn't like it that much. And I like how they brought on Sue, Ralph's partner or girlfriend or whatever you want to call her. When they brought on Sue, I liked her into the show. But I wish we had more Kid Flash this season. I liked Sue and Ralph as partners. And I liked Eva McCulloch as a villain. But the lead up to Crisis, which is terrible, and what made me put it at 5. And at the 4th best season, I have season 4. And this season is where they had Gypsy as a prominent character on here. They had Iris have speed for a quick minute. They had her have speed. And this is the season where Iris and Barry got married. And this is the season where Crisis on Earth X happened. So season 4 was the season where Iris and Barry got married. Crisis on Earth X happened. That's probably a top 2 crossover in the Arrowverse, Crisis on X Earth. And this is when Gypsy was a prominent character. This is when the Bow was a character for the Flash. Yeah, so the Bow Crisis on Crisis on Earth X was good, and this is when they had Barry going to be in prison for some of the season. Now Ralph to be the main superhero in Central City for a little bit. So yeah, I have season 4 at number 4. At number 3, I have season 1. This season's where Barry Allen and the Flash and Team Flash and Star Labs was introduced into the Arrowverse. This is also the season where the Flash and Team Flash had villains, and their villains were people affected by the explosion towards Central City, the particle accelerator explosion towards the city. And towards the beginning and middle of the story of the season, Iris didn't know Barry was the Flash until towards the end. And this is also the season where they show how Flash and Green Arrow are two different superheroes. Because one's a vigilante who got intense training over his 5 years not being in Central City, and this is not in Central, in Star City for the Arrow. And the Flash, they showed how he became a superhero overnight, and how he goes with more of a happier approach of not killing the people but saving the day too. So they showed them differences and how they're two different superheroes, but at the end of the day, outside of their superhero-ness, they're still friends. Barry Allen and Oliver Queen were still friends. And they showed that, and throughout this season, they showed that Harrison Wells, well, the evil one, the Earth One evil one, they showed that how he was Reverse Flash, and Reverse Flash is probably the show's best villain. But that's a topic for a different video. And throughout this season, they introduced McRory and Captain Cold, and they showed how Ronnie came back from the explosion, the particle accelerator explosion. They showed how he came back, and they showed how he became Firestorm, and then they showed Green Arrow, Firestorm, and Barry Allen fight off Godspeed. They had Gorilla Grodd as a character too. They introduced the professor. I forgot his name, but Professor Stein, I believe his name was. So yeah. So at number 2, I have season 2. No, at number 2, I have season 2. And this season is where Soon was a character. This season was when Soon was a character. This season is when they introduced the multiverse, where they traveled to Earth 2. This season is when they found out where they were trying to stop Hunter Solomon. This is when Earth 2 Wells came into the picture for Team Flash. This is when Savage tried to attack Hawkgirl and Hawkman, I believe their name was. This is when Guerrilla Warfare. This is when the Guerrillas became big characters in there. So the main villains were probably Vandal Savage, Zoom, and Gorilla Grodd and his crew. So they had, and I really liked where Green Arrow and Barry tried stopping Savage. I really liked that. And Soon was a good character. They still have fires. And Soon was a good character, and the introducing of Jesse Quick, I really liked that. So that's what makes season 2 the second best season. Jesse Quick, Savage, and the rest of the villains. Yeah. At number 1, I have season 3. So in this season, this was Flashpoint. Flashpoint was a thing in season 3, where in Flashpoint, that was the introduction to Wally West being Kid Flash. In season 3, this was the introduction to Caitlin Snow being Killer Frost. And eventually later down the show, she becomes Frost and becomes a superhero. But in season 3, Caitlin Snow was a bad guy. And this is where they try to save Caitlin from becoming Killer Frost. And in this season 2, they had the alien invasion. So they had Team Supergirl, Team Green Arrow, DC Legends, and Team Green Arrow, all there to stop the aliens. And then they had Jay Garrick and They had Jake Garrick in this episode. I mean, not episode, season. And then they had Gypsy. Oh, they had Gypsy. They had Gypsy up here. They had Gypsy in the season as a character. When they had Gypsy and Bive as two characters with the same powers. They had an attack on Central City with Gorilla Grodd, and Saboteur was a character in this. Saboteur was a character. This is when Barry time travels a lot. In season 3, he time travels a lot. And then after the battle, and then Saboteur. This is the season where they murder H.R. Wells instead of Iris. So yeah, because H.R. Wells sacrificed his life as a disguise of Iris to save Iris. So this is the season where Iris was supposed to die. This was an invasion. This was the season where Iris almost died. This was the season where Barry and Kara were stuck in the musical world to find their true love thing. This is the season where Gorilla Grodd was a big character, where he had his crew come into Earth 1 and attack. This is where Gypsy became a character, Kid Flash became a character, Jake Garrick and Invasion. So yeah, season 3 is the best season. This is the outro. Don't forget to leave a like, comment what movie or show I should react to next, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.